My son and daughter-in-law pushed me onto the subway tracks, smiling as the train roared above me. I lay still between the rails, heartbeat steady, dignity unbroken. When I stood up, I knew the battle had just changed sides. The real story was only beginning. The cold bit through my gloves as I stepped onto the porch, coffee steaming in my hand. The keypad light blinked red after I entered my usual code, then red again on the second try. I stared at it for a long moment, the hum of the wind louder than my pulse. "All right," I murmured. "So this is how we start the morning. I've lived in this house for over 30 years. I swept these floors before sunrise, when my husband was still alive, and it always kept the ghosts polite. But today, the house blinked at me like it didn't recognize me anymore. My phone buzzed. Saritha, my daughter-in-law, had renamed our group Chat, our home. A message popped up beneath it, simplifying things for you. Mom. Harlan, my son, replied with a thumbs up. No words. That silent approval of his had always been worse than a curse. I unlocked the door with the old brass key I'd never stopped carrying. The hinges sighed as if relieved. I whispered, "This house knows my name." In the kitchen, Saritha stood in her gym leggings, flipping pancakes like she owned the sunlight. "Morning, Dr. K." I updated the code. You don't want to remember all those numbers at your age. I taught audit trails to college kids who thought caffeine was breakfast, I said evenly. Numbers and I are still friends. She smirked, turning back to her pan. On the counter lay a printed move-in schedule, color-coded, listing my name under guest room. I folded it once and slipped it into my cardigan. "Guests bring pie," I said quietly. "Owners bring keys." Harlan entered, avoiding my eyes. "We're just trying to help." "Mom?" "I know," I said, though I didn't believe it. I texted Eula May. "You up?" Then I recorded a short voice note. Day 1. Lock code changed. Later that morning, I dressed for the HOA brunch, a navy cardigan, my church hat, the one with the feather I kept pinned straight. The printed invite on the fridge had misspelled my name and listed Saritha as the contact. I circled it with a pen before heading out. The taxi driver asked, "You from around here, ma'am?" "Long enough to know this city pretends it's kind in the daylight," I said with a smile. At the clubhouse, lemon oil and coffee filled the air. Saritha waved from across the lobby. Too loud, too bright. "Hi, I'm the household manager." I smiled back, steady. "Yes, she keeps things streamlined." The hostess led me to a small table near the restroom. My place card read Zella, Harlan's mom. Every minute, the bathroom door creaked open and shut behind me. Saritha laughed from the main table, surrounded by neighbors. "We wanted Mom close to the ladies' room," she said sweetly. I smoothed the card's edge and slipped it into my wallet beside an old train ticket I kept for luck. A neighbor whispered, "Bless her heart." I smiled. It's been blessed enough to own a deed. Harlan raised his glass halfway, then let it drop when I didn't look his way. As conversation drifted, Saritha said loudly, "Mom doesn't fuss with paperwork anymore. I streamline everything." "Streamlining is for shipping," I answered gently. "Deeds need reading. Out loud." Laughter rippled through the older couples at the next table. The HOA president turned to me. "Dr. Kimbrough, about those winter repairs?" I listed contractor names, costs, and permit dates from memory. His brows rose. He nodded respectfully. Saritha's smile tightened. "Don't worry, we've got it handled." "Then CC me on anything with my address," I said, still smiling. Later that evening, at home, the kettle whistled softly. I called Eula May. They changed the locks, the group name, even my seat. "Don't let them push you into a storm," she said. "Name your shoreline." We agreed on a code phrase, If I texted B at peace, she'd call immediately and mark the time. Quiet protection, woman to woman. I logged the day's events in my notebook, lock code, move-in sheet, HOA seating chart. I stapled the brunch program beside them. When I set the place card and train ticket side by side on my dresser, the reflection in the lamp glass looked like two witnesses. Then my phone buzzed again, a small transfer alert, Med Supply Metro LLC. I frowned. "Who are you?" I whispered to the empty room. Opening my laptop, I clicked, View all transactions. One yellow line after another appeared. My pulse steadied. If they changed the locks, I murmured. What else did they think they could change? The cursor blinked like a heartbeat as the transaction list rolled down my screen. Rows of tidy numbers, 31249, 48903, 73890, each marked with the same vendor. Med Supply Metro LLC, small enough to pass unnoticed, neat enough to look routine. I clicked each line, my breath slow and measured, and said aloud, "Someone thought 49 cents would make it believable." I pulled out my yellow highlighter and a ruled pad, setting up columns, date, amount, approval, suffix. I'd built audit trails for 20 years. Patterns speak louder than words. Every third debit came just after Saritha posted her chirpy household updates. Coincidence? No. Correlation is where deceit hides. I cross-checked timestamps, one by one, filling the grid until yellow lines began to hum like static. Don't panic. Don't preach. Prove, I whispered. Proof had rhythm. It made chaos obedient. I saved screenshots into a folder called Receipts by Med Supply. The kettle clicked off, steam whispering through the kitchen like a warning. The phone rang. "Mom," Harlan said, voice tight. "You messing with the accounts? Saritha says you might see some housekeeping entries." "Housekeeping doesn't invoice in Cayman format," I replied evenly. "Who signed the approval?" He hesitated. I could hear him typing. "Vendors post under different names." "No big deal." "Then I'll ask the bank for the vendor file," I said. "If my address is on it, it's my business." "Ma, you're making this hard." "No," I said, calm as a ruler's edge. "I'm making it right." When the call ended, I logged the time, his tone, and every phrase. "A record," I murmured. "Isn't a fight, it's a mirror." By noon, the kitchen table looked like a detective's desk. Statements stacked, stapled, marked with pencil notes. Equipment lease. One memo read beside a suspiciously round figure. Round numbers pretend to be official. Real life is messy. I drafted codes in the margin. MSM for Med Supply Metro. HB for Harlan Bank. QJ for quick justification. I took photos of each page under even light, corners visible, and said, "Aunt Effie was right. If you didn't write it down, it didn't happen." Then came the knock. Lemon water, binder, perfect smile. Saritha. "Morning, Dr. K. Just a few papers to make things easier." She slid forms toward me. Family assistance authorization. Durable power of attorney, draft. And post-dispute arbitration agreement. She spoke in legal lullabies. I put on my glasses. Durable means it outlives me, doesn't it? "Oh, it's just routine," she sang. "Routine's what people call traps they've rehearsed," I said, tapping the first clause. "This one transfers control of property. This one waives rights. This one opens my accounts." Harlan walked in then, his face a weather map of guilt. "Sign it, Mom, then you can rest." "Rest?" I smiled. That's what they write on headstones. I picked up a sticky note, wrote "Requested counsel present," and stuck it to the first page. Saritha's lips tightened. "You're making a mountain out of nothing." "Baby," I said softly, "I've climbed enough mountains to recognize a cliff." Their silence filled the kitchen. I gathered the papers, straightened the stack, and slid it back. No attorney. No signature. After they left, I photographed every label and time-stamped each image. Evidence has no emotion, only precision. I emailed the files to myself and an alias I'd made last week. Redundancy is a grandmother's best friend. Eula May texted, "Proud of you, sis." I brewed fresh coffee. The smell of lemon water lingered, so I washed her glass until the scent disappeared. Then the HOA treasurer called about the roof inspection. "It lists Saritha as the primary contact," he said. "Correct that," I replied. "Property belongs to me." He cleared his throat. "Heard you were seated near the restroom last brunch. That ain't right." "People seat you where they think you belong," I said. "I just moved my chair, on paper." After we hung up, I marked the entry in my ledger and smiled faintly. Recognition, even small, keeps your hands steady. Late afternoon light fell across my notes. A new invite pinged on my phone. Investor brunch, downtown. Saritha again. "Don't drive, parking's crazy. Take the red line." I accepted with a maybe, then opened my planner and wrote in red ink. If they pick the route, I pick the exit. My coat lay ready by the door. Charger, cash, flash drive. Logistics before courage. That's survival. Before bed, I checked my phone. Another bank alert. A new debit to MedSupply Metro, larger than before. I compared timestamps. It matched the calendar invite exactly. I whispered, "If they're bold enough to touch my money, what will they try to move next?" I typed 2 words to Eula May, "Be at peace," then slipped the phone into my coat pocket, screen faced inward for location sharing. The phrase looked gentle, but we both knew it was a signal. I took inventory like a soldier before dawn. Wallet, cash, ID, charger, flash drive. "Preparation is protection," I murmured. The morning was sharp and bright, sunlight bouncing off iced windshields along South Shore Drive. My breath clouded ahead of me as I locked the door and whispered, "Lord, order my steps and my timestamps." Halfway to the station, my phone buzzed. Darren, the neighbor boy, texted, "Me Grazit, my Ring camera caught whispers on your porch last night. You want to see?" I texted back, "Label it and keep it safe. Sugar, date and time. Teenagers know the power of video, they live in it." Across the street, Harlan leaned on a light pole, pretending to scroll his phone. He never came down this early. I raised a hand in polite acknowledgement, filing away, distance, posture, proximity. If they're staging, I thought, let them think the audience showed up late. Saritha waited at a cafe near the station, framed in the window like a display. 2 empty cups sat between her elbows. "Morning, Dr. Key," she sang, waving me in. I stayed standing. "Investors running behind?" I asked. "Just texted," she said, tucking her phone into her tote. "We should head down now. Train's faster." Her tote bulged with a binder and a rolled-up map. "I'll keep you safe on the stairs," she added. The word safe sounded like a leash. "Stairs and I get along fine," I replied, smiling as I texted Eula May a single dot, our second signal. The tunnel air was thick with echoes. I kept center left, bag-strapped crossbody, eyes scanning the rails. Harlan trailed behind, checking his watch like time itself was his accomplice. Saritha's heels clicked a rehearsed rhythm. The sign flashed, 2 men. She guided me toward the middle, where the yellow line gleamed like a warning. I counted the faces around us, a woman with a stroller, a student nodding to his headphones, a CTA worker at the far end. I caught the worker's eye and nodded, planting a silent witness. My phone pulsed. Darren again. That clip's wild, heard subway plan. Sending later. I didn't open it. I just whispered into my recorder. Platform middle, 2 minutes. Saritha steering, Harlan flanking. "Hold my tote?" she asked, halfway lifting it toward me. I kept my hands folded. You've got two, I've got one, I said. Just trying to make it easy, she murmured. You've done enough, I replied. Harlan leaned in, voice tight. Ma, we just want you to rest. I'm already resting, I said, right in my own rhythm. The gust from the tunnel came before the sound, air thick and electric. Saritha inched closer. Stand near me so you don't get jostled. Her hand hovered near my back. I angled sideways, feet parallel to the rail, bus safety style, ready to move backward, never forward. A flash notification lit my screen. Ring 10:47 p.m. plan, MP4. I didn't open it, but I saw the first caption, stick to the subway plan, proof, timed and titled. I tucked the phone deep into my coat and whispered, let's see who makes it to the end of this ride. The tunnel lights flared, a metallic roar filling the space. The board read, arriving. Saritha's breath brushed my neck. Harlan's shadow merged with mine. I whispered the same two words again, softer this time, be at peace. And the rumble swallowed the sound. The headlights burst from the darkness like judgment itself. I locked my knees, feeling the floor vibrate through my bones. A child cried. The stroller mother pulled back. Somewhere, a whistle blew. My balance held. My mind clear as glass. If their plan was the subway, I thought, they should have remembered. I built the map. I felt the hit between my shoulder blades before I heard the roar. It wasn't a stumble. It was deliberate, practiced, and cold. My feet slid over the yellow line, gravel scraping my palms as I fell. The air left my lungs, but instinct kicked in faster than fear. The third rail was 2 sleepers to the left. I knew that hum like a live animal. I clamped my elbows to my ribs, folded tight, kept my head down. Stay parallel, not tall. My mind ordered. Wind from the tunnel blasted up my coat as the train screamed forward. The impact didn't hurt as much as it rearranged the world. Metal shrieked, sparks hissed against the walls. I rolled belly down, pressing my body flat between the rails, the smell of oil and iron flooding my nose. Heat licked my back as wheels thundered overhead, each one a punctuation mark reminding me I was still here. I bit my lip hard enough to taste blood but didn't lift my head. I counted cars like heartbeats. 1, 2, 8. Counting meant control. Control meant survival. I thought of my late husband's voice saying, "Don't die curious." Silence fell so abruptly it rang. I moved my fingers first. Good. Toes. Good. My ribs ached, but breath still came steady. I lifted my chin an inch and saw a streak of daylight between the cars. The emergency ladder was right where I'd imagined it from old CTA maps. My hands shook, but discipline overrode it. I crawled forward, gravel digging into my skin. 2 ties at a time, I whispered. A voice shouted from above. "Ma'am, stay down," I said, calm and low. I'm moving toward the ladder. My hands found the rung, cold, rough, real, and I pulled myself up. When I reached the platform, the crowd gasped like a single body. Phones were raised, eyes wide. I stood, brushed the soot and oil from my coat, each motion deliberate, ceremonial. Saritha and Harlan froze 20 feet away, their faces twisted into concern, half a second too late. I walked toward them, each heel strike loud against concrete. A transit officer stammered, "Ma'am, did you fall?" I didn't blink. "No," I said. "I was pushed." Their eyes darted everywhere but me. I closed the space between us, smelled her perfume, and said, quiet but sharp, "See you in court." The officer took my statement while they fumbled for words. Harlan's voice cracked. "She tripped," Saritha cooed. "She's disoriented. Let us take her home." A young mother near the stroller called out. "I saw hands." The officer's pen scratched faster. I showed him my phone, text to Eula May, timestamp clear. Send that to your report, I said. There's video coming too. He nodded. You need an ambulance? No, I replied. What I need is your badge number. I walked the platform slowly, coat streaked black but dignity whole. At the gate, I tapped my fare card and climbed the stairs into sunlight. The cold air cut clean through the grime. It felt like a reset. I called Eula May. I'm upright. Meet me at the house. We document first, cry later. I recorded a quick voice memo. Platform, red line, 1018, names stated, witnesses noted. Then to Darren, hold your files, I'm coming. As the cab pulled away, my phone buzzed, a message from Saritha. Reschedule, followed by a smiley face. I took a screenshot, naming it Post-Incident Smile. In the window's reflection, I saw a woman with soot on her coat and steel in her eyes. Somebody's grandmother, sure, but not one you push off a platform and expect to bury. I laid the soot-stained coat over the dining chair, its smell of metal and burnt dust still clinging to the fabric. The flash drive sat beside my ledger like a witness waiting to speak. I spread the printed bank statements across the table, each page aligned, each mark deliberate, my voice steady. I recited, transactions logged, timestamps cross-checked, witness names, CTA worker, stroller moms, a platform board. It felt less like recovery and more like a lab report. I imported Darren Lunsford's ring files into a folder labeled Video Proof 01 and built a tidy structure: audio, bank, photos, notes. I typed a one-page summary in plain English. No emotion, just sequence. I signed one copy, left another unsigned, and took pictures of the coat with a ruler and frame. Paper and patience. My twin weapons. Eula May arrived with a tote bag full of manila folders and the kind of mints they give out at church funerals. You drink water before we fight, she ordered, setting a bottle by my elbow. We went over what to give the police, my summary, ring clips, witness list, bank logs. She separated attorney-only material into a second pile. If they come to the door, she reminded, no entry without a warrant, no answers without counsel. We synced our phones to share contacts and my medication list, so nobody could forget later, I told her. Silence is my professional. And she smiled like she remembered every faculty meeting we'd survived. Our code phrase stayed the same. I need a glass of water, her cue to intervene if anyone pushed too hard. At the police district, I stood straight under fluorescent lights that made everyone look guilty. I'd like to file an assault report for a public transit incident, I said. The officer blinked at my tone and reached for the forms. I gave names, Saritha Quinlan and Harlan Kimbrough. Relation noted but not explained. Attach these files, I said, sliding over the flash drive index. He asked, Did you fall? I replied, Gravity didn't act alone. I requested the report number, his badge name, and confirmation of digital evidence upload. He hesitated when I asked for a limited no-contact order. I smiled and said, I'd like it typed correctly the first time. By 2 o'clock, I was in Hyde Park, sitting across from Mariella Alston, elder law attorney and former prosecutor. She scrolled through my folders with the focus of someone grading a test she'd already passed. This is meticulous, she said. I answered, I taught research methods. Within minutes, she printed a notice of representation and a cease and desist, clear, clean, and final. No contact outside counsel, no access to property, no financial moves, she summarized, her pen striking the desk with each point. We signed medical releases from my clinic and scheduled a meeting with her forensic accountant. You were right, she said. No attorney, no signature. The smear campaign arrived faster than any subpoena. A family group text lit up. Saritha wrote, We're worried about Mom's cognition. She's paranoid after a subway stumble. Prayers up. 3 cousins hit, like one added, "Should someone manage her accounts?" I screenshotted it and handed the phone to Mariella. "Defamation," she said. We crafted a formal reply. All communication through counsel. Competency evaluations by licensed professionals only. Seconds later, Harlan called from a new number. I declined. "Chain of command," I said softly. Then came the Facebook post. Half concern, half poison. Mariella dictated a cease and desist letter before I could blink. "We'll serve it tonight." By 4, I'd frozen my accounts, flagged MedSupply Metro LLC as fraud, and locked out both their logins. The bank representative said, "Ma'am, that's a lot of quick action." I answered, "Quick's all that kept me off a morgue slab." At home, I reset the smart lock codes, gave Eula May a fresh one, and watched the old access list shrink. "Redundancy is love," I told her as I dropped a backup flash drive into her purse. At dusk, a new email popped up, "Family mediation, tonight, 7 p.m., church basement." Mariella texted, "Only if recorded and neutral." I clicked maybe and opened a new voice memo titled "Mediation Prenotes." My voice was calm as glass when I spoke. "If they insist on talking, we'll talk, with the law listening." The church basement smelled like instant coffee and floor wax. Folding chairs scraped concrete as people found their seats. Mariella and I arrived 2 minutes early, our steps echoing off cinder block walls. She placed a small recorder squarely on the metal table, red light blinking. "Backup's rolling, too," she murmured, pointing to her phone. Pastor Tate, gray suit and patience, reviewed the rules, no shouting, no interruptions, all statements documented. When Harlan and Saritha entered, they looked like actors ready for the wrong play. Faces rehearsed, guilt smoothed with lotion. "We consent to recording," I said. "Transcripts will be shared through counsel only." Pastor Tate nodded. Saritha's eyes darted to my coat, still stained with subway soot. I left it visible on purpose. Proof has a smell. Shame always recognizes it. Harlan began the performance. "Mom's been confused lately," he said, voice buttered with worry. "She fell on the platform. We just want to protect her." Saritha unfolded a neat document labeled Family Care Plan, calling my near death a stumble. Mariella's eyebrow lifted. She read the first paragraph out loud, then placed my police report beside it. "The dates don't match your claim," she said. I spoke once. I was pushed. The words hit like a gavel. I slid a witness list and preservation request to the middle of the table. Saritha tried pity next. "We're only helping. She forgets bills." Mariella leaned forward. "Unauthorized access was removed. Any further interference will be treated as criminal." The air cooled enough to frost glass. I opened my binder and laid out the printed transactions. MedSupply, Metro, LLC, and yellow highlighter. "This pattern," I said, "started the week Saritha became my trusted contact." Harlan's laugh cracked. "Now you're accusing us of theft?" "I'm showing data," I replied. Pastor Tate raised a hand. "Stick to facts." Mariella recited fraud case numbers. Crisp as scripture. I pushed a photo across the table. Saritha's text. That smiling reschedule? Sent hours after she watched me almost die. No one spoke. Silence can make guilt sweat through silk. Then it happened. Saritha muttered, "If she'd just taken the train like we told her," and froze mid-breath. Mariella's finger hovered over the recorder. "Please repeat that." "I meant our investor plan," Saritha stammered. I asked, "Your plan involved the red line?" Harlan barked. "Everybody takes the red line." Pastor Tate scribbled each phrase. "Please mark our plan and told her." I said, My husband's voice echoed in memory. Let them talk themselves into the corner. They just had... Mariella slid 2 envelopes across the table, cease and desist orders with their names in bold. Pastor Tate noted the time. She read aloud, "No contact and no access. Violation triggers police response." Harlan leaned forward, anger hiding behind fake pity. "Courts are slow. Ma..." I met his eyes. "Paper travels faster than lies," Saritha whispered. "We can fix this as family," I said. "Family doesn't shove family into trains." Mariella scheduled a notarized affidavit for tomorrow to lock the transcript's truth in ink. A knock interrupted us. A uniformed officer entered with papers. Emergency order of protection. Already granted. Saritha Quinlan. Harlan Kimbrough. You've been served. Their mouths dropped like bad actors missing their cue. Pastor Tate signed the service record. I signed mine. Steady hand. No tremor. Mariella murmured. Phase 1 complete. Outside. Night air bit clean. Saritha hissed. You won't ruin us. I smiled. I'm not ruining you. I'm recording you. My phone buzzed. A message from Duran. Uploaded the ring clip. Titled it Stick to the Subway Plan. I typed back. Good. Tomorrow. We follow the money. At 8:30 that morning, I sat across from Jennifer Brennan in her Loop office while numbers filled the wall behind her. Rows of transactions blinked in soft gray, patterns hiding in plain sight. They staggered the amounts, she said, zooming in. Small enough to dodge alerts, regular enough to build habit. Each line connected back to MedSupply Metro LLC, each approval tied to Saritha and Harlan. I didn't flinch. Show me the earliest date, I said. The cursor stopped at a payment 3 weeks after my husband's funeral. Jennifer slid over a form. Sign for chain of custody. Dr. Kimbrough. I did. Pen steady. She printed 2 preservation letters and a subpoena request list. As she spoke about IP logs and device IDs, I whispered into my phone's recorder. Numbers tell motive better than tears. By late morning, Mariella and I were at the state's attorney's office. The intake unit smelled of toner and stress. Lieutenant Stone asked clear questions. Position on the platform. Description of the shove. Who stayed still. Who screamed. I listed Rosa Delgado and the stroller mom as witnesses. Investigator Dell requested the mediation recording. Mariella smiled. Upon written request only. They exchanged a look that meant smart woman. They warned us the main cameras glitched that morning, but secondary angles might catch movement. We'll correlate timestamps with fair gate logs, Dell said. I nodded. I'll wait for truth to catch up. Back home, Eula May spread envelopes across my dining table like tarot cards. 1 copy for records. 1 for peace of mind, she said. We scanned each certified letter, filed receipts, updated the log. The bank confirmed the fraud freeze was working. An attempted login overnight had been blocked. My clinic texted, he tried to visit. We turned him away. I saved that, too. Even my smart lock had a conscience. It denied 2 entries while I slept. I left my soot-stained coat draped over the same chair. Some symbols earned their place. Midday. Saritha posted a sermon-length status about elder care and love through hard times. Folks tagged me, thinking it was kindness. Mariella's cease and desist message hit Facebook before I could blink. The post vanished, archived under harassment removed. Pastor Tate texted both of them. Any misstatements about mediation will be corrected publicly. I exhaled slow. My walking group brought lasagna and faith. We got you, Zella, they said. I smiled. I'm fine. Just keeping records. Evening brought the courtroom's cold fluorescent light. Judge Ellsworth reviewed the petition like it was scripture. She extended my protection order, full perimeter, home, clinic, church. Harlan tried to play concerned son, Saritha, the martyred daughter-in-law. Mariella countered with the police report and the transcript slip, "Our plan." The judge's gavel cut the air. Keys surrendered, access revoked. Harlan muttered, "You'll regret this." I replied, "Regret belongs to the guilty." By dusk, consequences rippled. Harlan's employer placed him on leave. Saritha lost her next event gig after a vendor leaked her fake care plan. My patients sent cards, neighbors waved longer, and my church arranged escorts for walks. Eula said grace at dinner and added, "Lord, let paperwork do what fists never should." At 8:52 p.m., Mariella texted, "Subpoenas approved. Federal contact in loop." At 9:07, Eula called, voice trembling. "Two unmarked cars just pulled up outside their place." I noted the time in my ledger and closed it. "Tomorrow," I said aloud, "somebody else will feel the ground drop out from under their feet." I was pouring coffee when the phone rang. Mariella's voice was steady, almost calm. "They filed Zella. The grand jury came back, wire fraud, theft by deception, conspiracy." I set the mug down and felt the weight settle, not as shock, but as gravity, finding its place. "So it begins," I said. I packed the soot-stained coat into a garment bag, still unwashed. My armor of proof. I chose the navy suit, no jewelry except my wedding band. Quiet dignity never goes out of style. The doorbell camera pinged with live footage. 2 agents at Harlan's building, envelopes in hand. My phone buzzed again. Jennifer Brennan. Bank logs confirmed. Devices match. I whispered to myself, "I'm not here to fight. I'm here to finish." Art. At the courthouse, the air carried whispers and disinfectant. I sat beside Mariella, back straight, palms still. Harlan entered in a crumpled suit, eyes darting like a cornered child. Saritha followed, pale as dust. The prosecutor read the charges, and for the first time, neither of them interrupted. When the judge asked for pleas, both muttered, "Not guilty." Paper shuffled louder than their voices. The court ordered no contact, no travel, no financial access. Mariella leaned toward me and whispered, "Saritha's flipping." I didn't glance over, but I saw the motion, a pen signing cooperation papers, her hand trembling. I thought, she's saving herself the only way she knows, by telling the truth she once sold. In the side room, the assistant state's attorney laid it all out. Saritha confessed, the planned timing, the staged stroller alibi, the motive, inheritance leverage. I handed over the mediation audio hash and chain of custody log, every timestamp fit like bones to joints. Mariella said softly, "Cooperation doesn't erase guilt, but it can serve the law." I nodded. Let it serve something. Then, I didn't feel rage, only relief that the story now had a witness besides me. Truth had paperwork now. Weeks passed before sentencing. I wore gray that day, the color of endings. Harlan took a plea. Voice small. My turn came. "You didn't just reach for my money," I told him. "You reached for my life, and I'm still here." The judge handed down a prison term with restitution, garnished wages, supervised release. Saritha received probation for her cooperation, community service, ethics training, and a lifetime of remembering. When the bailiff moved them out, Harlan tried to speak, but the judge cut him off. "Justice doesn't owe you conversation." That afternoon, I sat in Mariella's office to finalize my estate. "Scholarship fund for CTA families, clinic equity to staff," I said. "Cousins who stayed kind, modest gifts, the rest reinvested in the living." Mariella nodded, typing. I added one more clause. Harlan and Saritha, disinherited for cause. Legacy over lineage. That's how peace writes itself. Evening brought church light through stained glass. Pastor Tate spoke of forgiveness as freedom, not permission. I listened, not confessed. A cousin hugged me with watery eyes. Maybe someday dinner? I smiled kindly. Some days never come, baby. Rosa Delgado wept when I handed her the scholarship draft. It matters, she said. You mattered first. I replied. At home, a small box waited on my porch. Flowers and a card. I'm sorry. No name. I slid it into my evidence file. Habit never dying easy. I recorded my final note for the archive. What tried to bury me became what I grew from. Then, for the first time, I washed the soot coat. Watching the machine spin, I whispered, I don't owe you. Later, under soft piano notes, I faced the camera. If someone smiles at your fear, step back and document. Paper builds better fences than anger. I paused. Let the silence rest like grace. I'll love my people, but I won't fund my own erasure. That night, I opened an envelope with no return address. Inside, a photo of me standing on the subway platform, taken seconds before the shove. On the back, 4 words written in my late husband's handwriting. You missed one. Zella. I stared at it, heart still, wondering who else knew.